Hello everybody, I'm Steve and welcome to Green Side Up. Down on the plot again today, and today is what I consider to be the second spring. We've got lots of crops in, lots of crops growing away and heading for a harvest, but it's now that you need to be thinking of your next harvest and the plants that you're going to plant when the current plants are finished and come out, just so you don't have bare soil. And for me also, I'm also thinking forward for what crops I want to grow in the polytunnels over winter. So that's always at the back of my mind. And it's quite a hard one to judge. Some years I get it right, some years I get it wrong, but every year I try and make things better. So we're going to have a quick look and then we'll get on with sowing some seeds that I think I need to get going now. So we're going to have a quick look. So very quickly, down here on the beds I've got multi-sown leeks. They will stay in through winter. I've got some carling peas, I sowed those, planted those the other day, and the beans. I've got garlic mixed with onions in here. The garlic will be coming out very soon, which will leave a space. And some of these onions will also be following on very soon and coming out. More garlic here and a bit more garlic here. And onions, and again a lot of this will be coming out and will need replacing with plants. So what I have got is a small amount of plants here. There's another tray of beetroot on, they're quite far on them, and some spring onions and another tray of beetroot. So they should help to fill the spaces that I've got. I've got some broccoli somewhere as well that's ready to go out. Can't seem to find them at the minute, but they're around here somewhere, so they'll go out. But I'm all set up here now to do a little bit of sowing and to explain what I'm doing as I'm going along. So I'll get you all set up with the camera and then we'll crack on with that. Right, so what we've got some extra plants here that I sowed a few weeks ago, and it's a couple of winter cabbage and the rest of those are kales. So they're great hole fillers, kales, and they're a great through the winter for green leaves, which we all want during that winter period. You want fresh stuff and it will just stand all winter long. And I grow a mix of it all around the plot and all around my tunnels, and this year it'll be around 3 tunnels. So they all need potting on, and I have a couple of other brassicas to sow, namely these two, which are spring cabbage. I want to get them started, so they'll go into another tray over the next day or two. But what I'm going to sow now, right on camera, is these are Dwarf French beans. These are a great crop, I feel, for in the polytunnel, because they grow on so quick, easy to grow, and they don't take too much looking after. You don't need to be staking them. I do sometimes put some fencing up for them to grow against, just a little bit of support, but otherwise I don't really need to fuss with them too much. As you can probably see, or some of you will have noticed, I'm growing them in the container-wise modules, trays that I bought earlier this year. And I'm just putting 1 or 2 seeds in each. I'm not being that fussy or picky, really. And they just need pressed in, more compost on top, watered, and let them get on with it, and they'll do it all for me. Later on, when there's a space in the polytunnel, one of the tunnels somewhere, they'll go in and we'll get a late autumn harvest, hopefully. So that's that first one, Dwarf French beans. Definitely recommend you sowing and growing those. So that's the first one. Next lot we've got more beetroot again. Don't underestimate beetroot. It's a fantastic crop. You can roast it or boil it or make chutney or pickle from it. It's just, to be without it, I think, is it's like cutting your hand off. You've got to have it, and it stores well. And I'll be doing a better storage video for the winter later on in this year, and how we store it over the winter. But again, I'm sowing 2 varieties here, Bolt Hardy and a Burpees Golden. And again, multi-celled in modules. I mean, I'm trying to get 2 or 3 in each cell, but it's more like 5 or 7. But it matters not, you just pick them out when you need them. This is just to keep the continuation going. I will be sowing more later on, more beetroot, but I'm going to try and critically time them, because over the winter, this last year, I had some beetroot growing in the polytunnel, and I very nearly had the timings right to be able to get bulbs out in sort of February, March. And if I can crack that, that'll be fantastic, because it means I won't have to store them. So we'll try again this year and see if I can get that mastered. I'd love to. I certainly think it's doable. The weather, of course, has got to be agreeable, but if you don't try, you'll never know. So that's beetroot. I mean, again, these are standard stuff for what I call the second spring. The same with this one. This is an Ishikura, my Japanese bunching onion, and I'm glad to see that the popularity of this is rising, because it is such a good onion. I mean, the white Lisbon has always been the go-to onion for bunching, you know, or spring onions. But I found this, and I don't think anybody else was growing it, but now it's taken off and people are using it, and that's good, because it is such a good onion. So that's what we'll do with them. We'll multi-sow those into this tray as well. So this last tray that I'm sowing is lettuce, and I use a little tray like this and do what I call furrow sowing, when I'm just tamping out little furrows into the compost to lay a couple of lines of seed into. And I'm starting off with my favourite, or one of them. This one is red Grenoble, and I tend to be very heavy-handed with lettuce. I try not to be. I only need half a dozen. There's about 30 seed in there. So that's the red Grenoble. And there's another one here I've been growing called Rouge d'Hiver. I'll put the name up on the screen. In fact, I'll put all the names of all the stuff in the description. Very similar to red Grenoble. So we'll have a few of them as well. God, that's light for me. There's not 300 seeds in there. What's going on, Steve? And I haven't even got a label written down for that. That's terrible. Rouge. So that one. And then the next one is also, I mean, that's red, Rouge, red Grenoble. And this next one is also red. It's a red Treviso, and this is a chicory. Now, this takes some growing, takes quite a long time of growing. You don't pick it like salad leaves. You let it heart up, and eventually the green leaves on the outside will turn, well, they'll grow sort of red internally. It's quite bitter. It's an acquired taste, but if you fry it in a frying pan, if you cut it in half, fry it in a frying pan for just a couple of minutes in some butter, and then put it in the oven to finish roasting it for about 5 minutes, it's delicious. You'll love it and you'll thank me for it. So that's chicory red Treviso. Well worth growing. Yeah, and I think that's it for the lettuce. What else have I got here in the lettuce? Maybe there's room for one more. Let's do another freckles. Who likes freckles? So this is a nice green lettuce, and as the name suggests, it's got little black spots on it, blotches, like similar to freckles. So that's the lettuce done. At the same token, while we're sowing all this salad stuff, the beetroot, the spring onions, the lettuce, don't forget to keep sowing radish, and sow a little row or a half row every couple of weeks, just to keep the succession going. Again, that's something else I failed at. I should have sown some last week and didn't, so I'm a week behind on that, but I'll get caught up. So that's my sort of second spring sowing for the summer, for this time of year. As I say, I've already got the already have the winter cabbage, a couple of varieties of winter cabbages, and I've got some kales there. There's about 3 or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's 4 different types of kale in there, and the 2 types of winter cabbage. And I've now got the Treviso chicory as well, which sort of borders on cabbage, and some lettuces. And I'll keep sowing lettuces to go into the winter, and the varieties will change for winter growth. And over the next couple of weeks, I'll start to add some of the more Chinese cabbages. So I have a couple of varieties of pak choy. That's a fantastic stir fry cabbage. And I will try and grow Wong Bok again, which is a Chinese cabbage, a proper sort of elongated sort of a cabbage. Every year I lose them, every year I try again. I've got another plan for it this year. I won't give up. I'll keep growing them every year until I get a crop out. So, but I know they are tricky. So we'll keep trying on those. And there are other things to add into the mix. I'm going to keep sowing beetroot and the spring onions, all the salad stuff. So I'll keep sowing and keep them going. Because at the end of the day, I mean, a little packet of seeds like that from Premier Seeds cost you 99p. Now, I've had that packet for 3 years, and every year I eat chicory from it. You know, once you've eaten one chicory, you've had your money's worth. So sow and keep sowing, and if you don't use it, you can compost the whole lot, so you even get the compost back as well. So you're not wasting anything. All you're doing is taking up your time to actually do it, and taking up container space, which, you know, is going to produce plants for you anyway. So there we go. That's my take on it for July. There will also be a load of flowers coming as well in July. I'll be sowing a lot of those. So anyway, but that's it. Well, I hurt me back today, which is a bit of a pain well, it's a bit of a pain in the back really. Hoping going home, a quick shower and an ibuprofen will sort it out for me. Won't be at the plot tomorrow, back the day after. But that's it for this video. Look after yourselves, everyone. Please stay safe. I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care now. Ta-ra.